afternoon, Ms. Stafford, and welcome to the Coaching Canada Portfolio Competition for 2012. We have some questions to ask you. Is it all right if we get started?
Yep, that's
all right.
fine.
Tell me about yourself using your portfolio.
Well, my portfolio is a Prezi, and so it's a little bit like a PowerPoint, but in my opinion, it's a little more engaging than a traditional PowerPoint. So basically, it's a story of myself, where I come from, what I've done, and then a little bit going into the future. So first off, I just have a picture of myself. I talk a little bit about my background. So where I'm from Xenia, Ohio. I played several sports in high school. I'm 21 years old. And then I talk about some of my interests, which include fitness, traveling, spending time with my family and friends. So the main point of telling you about this is just, I come from a small town, but I definitely don't want to stay there. I want to move. I want to get out and do a lot with my life. And then I go into my experience at Ohio University. I'm getting a Bachelor of Business Administration. My majors are Marketing and International Business, and I'm getting a sales certificate, of course. I've been on the Dean's List every quarter, and I'm a member of Beta Gamma Sigma, so I'd like to think I've made the most here out of my time at OU and try to get really involved and get the most out of what I'm paying for to get my education. So next is my professional development and what I've done while at OU to better myself and get ready for a job after college. And the first one of those things is the sales center, which I've been extremely involved in over the past 4 years. And this is a leadership team from last year, and many of us are on the same leadership team this year. The second thing is Phi Gamma Nu, which is a business fraternity I'm part of and have also been pretty involved in throughout my 4 years. And that's a picture of the group. It's about 100 people. And then finally, I've recently become way more involved in Toastmasters to improve my public speaking skills and get more comfortable talking in front of people and just more confident in general. So I also came up with a mission statement, which I'll go through kind of quickly, but it encompasses both my personal, my professional, and then kind of my view on health and staying fit and healthy throughout my life. So I think this is really important because it just kind of shows who I am and what I value. So I value relationships, doing well in my career, and then maintaining a good work-life balance and a healthy lifestyle. Next I talk about my values. So I have 5 main areas that are both personal and professional. My family and friends, integrity, balance, creativity, and leadership. I also wanted to include my strengths in my portfolio because I think these are I felt that when I took the Strength Finder assessment, it really fit me, and the results were very relevant to me and something I can refer back to on a daily basis. My first one was strategic. I'm an achiever. I have a strength of focus. I'm very futuristic, and then responsibility is another strength of mine. So that's something I can tell employers and give examples of that will help me get that job or whatever opportunity I'm pursuing. One of my biggest strengths is my ability to multitask, and I like to carry a lot on my plate and be busy and do a lot. And I just kind of mapped out a typical week for me here at OU, what I spend my time doing, whether that be with the sales center or working or classes. So it definitely takes a lot, but I think it's all worth it. And then I wanted to go into some of my key milestones that I've achieved so far throughout my life. And I divided those up into 4 areas. So leadership, academics, professional, and then fitness and athletic. I've held several leadership positions throughout college, most of them being in the sales center, and one of them being in my business fraternity. So I wanted to highlight those. My academic achievements, I've been able to participate in the Global Consulting Program, which is something I really valued, the sales center, the cluster, Copeland Scholars Program, the Schey Scholarship, and those are things I'm pretty proud of. My professional achievements so far, I interned at Whirlpool and I got a full-time offer there, which I'm taking. And then just some of the other things I've done to become more professional, joining Toastmasters, doing corporate visits for the sales center, and then I wanted to show my work ethic because I've had a job since I was 15, and I've been working since then. And then finally I want to talk about some of my athletic achievements. I played varsity sports in high school, and I played soccer at OU for 2 years. And then a couple other things I've done just on my own are I ran the Athens Half Marathon 2 years ago, and then I also was in the Warrior Dash last year, which was a lot of fun.
Can you explain the process you went through to make your portfolio?
It all started, I think, 2 years ago when I first joined the coaching candidate program. I was in it the year before this, and I made an initial portfolio using a PowerPoint. It was just kind of a layout of all of my information, and I really wanted to change that this year and make it more interactive, definitely something online that I could send out to people or present in a setting like this where it's really visual. And then since I first made that portfolio, I've had a lot of experiences that have made me really grow up and grow as a person. So when I got my coach this year, Mike Lex, we sat down and kind of laid out everything he liked from my last portfolio and what I wanted to keep. And then I made a new list of things that I wanted to add to it. So he helped me narrow that down and helped me form my mission statement, my values, and then I decided to use Prezi for the format for my portfolio, and I went from there and created it, and then we just tried to make it the best it could be. So,
how do you plan on using your portfolio in the future?
I think it's really easy to add to. I think that's one of the big things about using Prezi is that you can pick and choose what you want to view at any time. So as I go forward and start my job, I can continue to add different pieces to it. I know that I'll use it when I interview for a promotion, or if I am looking for a job, it's something I can send along with a resume. And I definitely want to add it to like a LinkedIn account. That way, if someone did want to learn more about me, I can show them that. And I think it's good because it can stand alone. Someone can look through this and see, okay, this is who Amy is. Or I can do like what I just did and present it to them and elaborate on all of it so they'd learn a little more.
If you could sum up your personal brand in one sentence only, what would you say? Your personal brand in one sentence.
If I could sum up my personal brand in one sentence, it would be that I'm someone who really values a work-life balance, and everything I've done throughout the years has proved that I like to work really hard, but I also have a lot of different interests and things I like to do.
Okay. What is the most important thing you have learned from the Coaching Canada program?
I've learned a few really valuable lessons, I would say, through the Coaching Candidate program. One is how important self-awareness is. So everyone has an idea of who they are, but until you sit down and do something like this, I don't really think that you put together your values and your mission, and everything that you've done kind of fits together to make up who you are, and then you see how other people view you and how you want to be viewed. So that's definitely a huge thing for me. And then having a mentor, I think, is something really valuable I've learned. Having Mike Lex as a coach and help me make the portfolio and really caring to put in the time to do that has made me realize it's something I would definitely want to do later on and help someone else. So just the amount of effort and time he put in to help me and kind of help me define myself is something that I would love to do for someone else.
What sets you apart from other future employees? Is that portrayed in your portfolio?
I would say it's definitely portrayed in my portfolio. I think the main thing that separates me is my work ethic. And I think that's portrayed just based on all the different things I've taken on throughout high school and being at OU and different things I've achieved taking on leadership positions. It wasn't because I necessarily just have like a natural talent. It's something I worked really, really hard for. And I definitely tried to portray that in my portfolio. Another thing is I always have a desire to improve and better myself. And I think just examples from my portfolio, like joining professional organizations and challenging myself in different athletic environments or anything like that, I tried to include to show that I'm not someone who just achieves a goal and then stops. I keep going.
Okay. What role, you've talked about this a little bit, but what role did your coach play in helping you develop your portfolio ideas?
Well, when I met Mike, we sat down and we got to know each other through phone calls and meeting up. So he helped me use my old portfolio, narrow down what we wanted to keep, and just along the way, looking at the situation as if he were looking for someone to hire, what things about me stood out.
Okay.
And that really helped me decide what I wanted to include in my portfolio and how to kind of tell my story, I guess, of who I am.
What media elements have you utilized?
Well, the first one being Prezi.
Prezi.
That's the main part of my portfolio, that it can be viewed on the computer, obviously. Someone could pull up my portfolio on an iPhone or an iPad and view it that way, which would be really convenient. So that's part of the reason I used it. I also try to use a lot of pictures throughout my portfolio because I think it's one thing to, list all the things you've done, but when you can actually see that in action, I think that says a lot more and shows a lot more, and people can actually experience it for themselves. So those are the two main things.
What is the best advice your coach has given you? Best advice your coach has given you?
I think just to be confident in myself and who I am. Just reinforcing the fact that I have done a lot of good things and to continue upon those, and then don't give up on my goals, or don't settle for, if you get stuck in a rut, don't settle for that job. You can always move on to something better. So I think that's the best advice he's given me, and just that confidence to be proud of what I've done.
Well, thank you for sharing, Ms. Stafford.